Hello, in this video we're going to go over how to calibrate the T-10 with a variety of different products, and we'll take you step by step on that process. Alright, step one is to get all the supplies that you're going to need to calibrate the drone. So your product of choice, whichever one you're calibrating, grab that, and then I like to use a 5-gallon bucket to transfer the products as I'm calibrating. And then this big tote is really good to have. One, it holds the drone up and then catches all the product so it doesn't spew everywhere. After you do that, you will need to go on the bottom of the drone and start removing the spreader wheel from the bottom so then the product doesn't spray everywhere. And I'll show that in the next step. How to take the flywheel off. Underneath the drone there's a little cottering pin right on the outside or on the middle of this spinning wheel. What I've noticed is once the container is empty, I can lift this up and it's a lot easier to access. But you take that pin out and then you unscrew the wing nut from the bottom of the disc. Once that's done, this whole disc will come right off and then you're ready to put it on the bucket and calibrate it. Once you have the spreader disc taken off the bottom of the T-10, you can set that aside. Now we're going to take a big catch tote and set the T-10 on top of it. That way, when all the product comes out of the bottom, it'll be caught and it doesn't make a mess everywhere. Once you have that, then go ahead and load the hopper completely full, all the way up to the top. And we'll do that for the first calibration. On the second calibration and the third set, we're going to do 3 sets of calibration. I found that it gets more accurate results once you do the first one all the way full. The second one, you're going to fill it halfway or really as little as you can, that it'll still allow you to press go on the calibration. That way it gets more used to lesser weights, because realistically you're going to only put 12 to 13 pounds of product in this hopper at a time. So as you're filling the hopper, a technique that I found to get the most amount in the first calibration is it starts to make a pyramid kind of shape. So if you take your hand and push them to the sides, that way it gets more product on each side. And then don't let any excess spill. So to go through the calibration on the transmitter, first you'll need to turn on the drone and the transmitter to be able to have them be bound and talking to each other. Once you have that, you can go to execute task. It'll give you all the warnings and whatnot, and you'll select a field. There's a little note on the left side, and it doesn't matter which field you select, you just have to select a field. If you don't select a field, what it'll look like is it'll give you these, ignore that message, it'll give you all these percentages and things like that, and you'll go to select a template and there will be no previous templates. So you do need to select right here. There's a little note, the bottom one right there, and it doesn't matter which field you select, but just use that field and it'll bring you to this. This is where it gives you a lot more parameters to choose from, and as you can see there's already the previous products I've templated. You select new template right here, and then there's a flow calibration right here. Flow calibration, you'll click that. Now it wants you to select which hopper you have and which gate we have. What one we have is the first one, and you'll press start calibration. When you press that, the product will start coming out of the bottom of the drone and it'll just let it run its course and do its thing. So you can see that we're given a percentage on the transmitter right here. Whenever just follow the directions on the transmitter. But we'll do this process probably 2 to 3 times The first time it's from completely full to empty. The second and the third time that you do a complete calibration, you should do it with it halfway full at the max. That way it gets a more accurate of a day-to-day use situation, and it'll calibrate more accurately that way. Once the calibration is all done, you'll see this graph and the calibration's all done. Press OK. And these are the important parts. So at first you can see that the units are in these weird Chinese units. They're not in pounds per acre. We'll come back to that in a minute. So you just set it to something. The spinner disk speed, I put that to 550. It's really sensitive, so you just try your best. And the speed of, oh my goodness. So the spinner disk speed should be at 550. And then this flight speed, put that to max. And then we'll name at the top. So we'll put first one just for example, or example. It really doesn't matter. And we'll press done or save right here. So now that template is saved, so we can go to, and it's right down at the bottom, so we'll select that. And now you can put the, remember how it was in like these Chinese measuring system? Now it does pounds per acre, and just do it to the label's description on the product. For Vectomax, it's 10 pounds per acre, and you'll press yes on that. And we'll do save. And then that's all your calibration. We can go back and check, and it's right there. When you're flying day to day, make sure to check the pounds per acre and the acres treated on your flight overview page, and do the calculations manually to make sure that it's the correct pounds per acre. If it's not, change that on the calibration page, and it'll need some fine tuning throughout the days to get it more accurate. And that's how you calibrate the DJI Agras T-10 drone with a variety of different products.